is the story of the people helping people all throughout this land of ours, because that's what we're all about. This is the story. This is the story of the people helping people all throughout this land of ours, because that's what we're all about. This is the story.
Welcome to Powered by Volunteers. I am Chris. I'm here with Dan Kouder, one of our wonderful volunteers from out in Texas. How's it going, Dan?
It is just peachy.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So tell me, how were you first introduced to Beto?
The first time I even learned about Beto, I was actually listening to Pod Save America. So I was listening to a podcast, and I think this was February-ish, 2017. They said his name, and I wasn't even really paying attention to that because I had no idea who he was. But, you know, they went on with the person who was running against Ted Cruz, and then the radar went up. I'm like, anybody who's running against Ted Cruz has got to be worth a look at least, right? And then, you know, I started looking into him and started hearing him speak and got a text from the campaign in April, May, something like that. And basically I decided to join the texting campaign and became a volunteer, and then a volunteer manager for the texting campaign. And you know, the rest was history, so they say.
All right, that's cool. So you were old school Beto. So what kind of things did you do for him in the Senate campaign and throughout the presidential campaign?
Well, so like I say, I was a texter. Then I became a volunteer manager on the texting team. So at the end, during like Get Out the Vote, I was one of the three guys that we were sending out all the texts. So the texting team was sending out millions and millions of texts, staggering numbers. I think we actually might have done more texting for Beto's Senate campaign than Bernie did in his 2016 national campaign.
I got tons and tons of text messages. You guys did a really, really thorough and good job with that.
Yeah. And so they were targeted texts too, you know, event texts and stuff like this. So whenever Beto would show up in an area, you'd try to blanket that area with text saying, hey, come see Beto. I also housed out-of-state field organizers. I had 3 different field organizers living with me basically for the last couple of months of the campaign. And then my house was one of the 700 pop-up offices, the distributed organizing model. So that was really, really cool. We had 150 unique volunteers come through the house to do. Some people came here and they did phone banking. Some people knocked doors. We knocked thousands and thousands and thousands of doors out of this house. Let's see. In the presidential campaign, I continued on with the texting team right from the beginning. We texted. And at about that time is when I started basically a new job. So I started rotating offshore. So I didn't get to do a whole lot more for the presidential campaign then to text. And now with Powered by People, you know, here we are. So the first thing I did was open up my house to help out Dr. Eliz in House District 28 for the first couple of weekends of action, where Beto came out to Katie, and I don't know, we knocked, I don't know if I have the exact stats.
Stupid numbers. You guys did an amazing, I was completely floored by the work that you guys did. It was just absolutely amazing.
Had amazing amounts of people here. It was just fantastic. Fantastic candidate, fantastic effort, and basically showing what one of the things that Powered by People can do. Of course, that was in the pre-COVID world. We're in a different world now. So
completely different world, and you know, you guys, people are still doing a phenomenal amount of work as well. Is there anything that you're doing now, or that you were doing after the campaigns outside of helping with the Eliz race?
I haven't personally. I consider myself to be a little bit at risk, so I haven't ventured out to man the food banks. Powered by People is out there directly trying to volunteer at each of the 21 food banks around the state. And Beto and Powered by People are out recruiting volunteers and donating. And so I've been donating. That I can do.
Hey, that's just as important. I know, like I said, I have family members who are at risk. I have a small child. I mean, everybody plays their part, and
Yep.
donating is just as important as getting out and handing out food.
So I get out my wallet right now, and I'm just getting out the wallet. Like, I'm trying to support the food banks, and it just, I don't know, by luck, I guess. There's been a couple of times where there have been donors out that have been looking to do matching, and every time that happens, I really hammer them.
That's awesome. But
Um,
all right, Dan. Well, I appreciate you joining us. You've done a phenomenal amount of work, and it's incredible. You're an inspiration to all of us here at Powered by Volunteers. So thank you for coming on.
I appreciate the opportunity, and hey, look, I miss being able to open up this space and be able to concentrate the efforts here and be a distributed organizing hub. We're going to have to do it differently, I think, right? We're going to be virtual.
Absolutely.
But I plan on, as part of the organization, supporting all the local candidates here, Dr. Eliz, Sri Preston Kulkarni in House District 22.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got to help Joe win Texas.
Absolutely. We got to help Joe win Texas. We got to help Joe win Virginia, all over. Again, thank you so much for what you've done. And thank you for joining us on Powered by Volunteers.